I'm going to hit the going live button. And now, there we are. So we're live on the YouTubes. So now what I want to do is share. Oh, bloody hell. Share this. I can still hear you, yes. Is it bad again? Oh, I bet. Oh, there he goes. There he goes. There he goes again. Raking through mob. Are you in the... No, you probably don't want to do that. I don't think you want additional long distance charges. Nah. Hmm? Okay. Nope. Yep. Go to the freest one possible, even though it kicks you off every 5 minutes. That's bizarre. We should probably try to troubleshoot that at some point or another. Is it back on the Wi-Fi? You jittered just now, so I assume it is. I'll fill in the blanks when you freeze up. Ah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Wax poetic and whatnot. Right. Oh, my trout is full of fish. I am. What? Did you have a Did you have a question before we go on? No. I'm fairly certain we have not. We've done different things, but it. Yeah. Anyway, I am Ross. Joining me is Ian, and with a little bit of a frog in my throat, but trying a new beer, we are attempting to drink Nova Scotia Dry because I think it's just a result of us when we go into brewery sometimes and we just say, oh, that's different. We haven't tried that. We happen to have two Dunkelweizens to compare. And I think when I suggested it, my immediate thought was, what's a Dunkelweizen? It says German wheat beer. And then I did a quick lookup of it, and this is my favorite description. I think I sent this to you. The German-style Dunkelweizen can be considered a cross between a German-style Dunkel and a Hefeweizen. So, there you have it. A Dunkelweizen is a Dunkel and a Weizen. And I went, well, yeah, it's a dark wheat beer. And I love the... I think we probably grabbed it because anytime a can is nice and brown... Ooh, I didn't even notice the German flag colors on the Annapolis Royal one here. Oh, that's the stronger of the two. Whoops. Right up at the top. So, you know, the German wheat beer. I mean, Dunkelweizen, it's giving it away. Dunkel, I'm not quite sure what that means. Does Dunkel just mean like malty beer? Anyway, I... So like a Helles is just light-ish. Okay. I'm learning the German. Look at this. Look at this. You never say we don't learn anything on this show. We do, but we immediately forget it. But I looked them up on both sites. Saltbox does not list a Dunkelweizen, and Annapolis Royal or Annapolis Brewing Company also does not list a Dunkelweizen. So either they're brand new or they're already gone. And I think it's probably that second thing, because we seem to have really, really terrible timing on this one. But I did pick up this Saltbox one while we were down, my daughter and I, down in the area, down in the Bridgewater, and picking up yet more of the Saltbox glass. I'm not sure if you've got your Saltbox glass with you, but I think I've got one. It tapers at the top. So do you have the triangular... I call it the triangular one, the big, thick-edged, pyramid-shaped one. I mean, yeah, it's going thematic over brewery. Well, you call it generous, but it all stemmed from me having no brain because I forgot that I hadn't picked one up because I think I complained about this last week. Did we have another salt box last? I don't even remember. But it has Lightship and King Street on it, so it's actually three, not three breweries, but three pubs, three tap rooms in one. Oh no, you got okay, so it's the same. Yeah, all right, it's similar. Mine has the Lightship on it also, not Lighthouse, Lightship. So the lower alcohol percentage of the two is the 4.6 alcohol by volume Plowman's Dunkelweizzen from Saltbox, which has this beautiful, lovely vista picture, kind of the blue at the bottom, fading to a yellow at the top. Man behind the oxen pulling a plow in its wake. And then, in the tiniest lettering possible, oh my goodness, are you ready for this? This is a story and a half. This beer honors the arrival of German settlers to Lunenburg in 1750 to 1752. The British invited these subjects of the House of Hanover, who were largely Lutheran and Protestant, to farm lands in the area as a deliberate attempt to offset the discontent with British rule of the large Acadian population, who were French-speaking and Catholic. The settlers brought with them advanced farming methods, the capacity for hard work, and hops. Yes, hops for beer and bread making. Wait, hops for... You don't put hops in bread. What bread do you eat with hops? That's weird. This legacy can be seen in the hops that grow wild in all parts of Lunenburg County. I did not know that hops grew wild in Lunenburg County. That's good to know. And even in the back of Saltbox Brewery in Mahone Bay. Plowman's is a copper brown beer with all the flavors that a wheat beer can offer. It tastes of sweet maltiness and chocolate-like character with a hint of cloves. What? A chocolate clove banana wheat beer. That's certainly going to be different. And I think you asked just before we went. Yeah, you said, have we done a Dunkelweizen before? And all of this information that we're looking up to try to find out what a Dunkelweizen is, I feel is brand new. So no, I don't think we've done a Dunkelweizen before. We've done dark. We've done a dark lager, the Schwartz beers. Dunkelweizen. What did you say that? Yeah, Dunkel is just dark, right? So it's dark wheat, but in German. That's fair. I am still nursing some sort of strange cold thing. I'm not smelling a wheat beer. I'm smelling more like just a pale ale. But you are right. My nose, all my senses are not quite as... Well, I don't want to say sharp. Are my senses sharp at the best of times? They're not at the same levels as they normally are. But in in eating like food, supper, having snacks, beverages, coffee, and whatnot, I found that I'm still tasting everything pretty much normally. There might just be an additional... You are sick flavor through most of it. Yes, I have some pesky foam in mine also. I'm I'm digging the couleur. The couleur is very nice. This is quite curious. They say copper. That is a nice dark copper to it. That's like a Yours is nearly pink. Yeah. Like a slightly disappointing brown or a very delicious red. My fire's upstairs, so I'm cold. Oh. Mm. The cold has set in. Ooh. I took a tiny sip just off of the can as I completed it and put it on the floor, and I'm tasting a spice. I think I'm already tasting just a tiny amount of the cloves on there. But where in a wheat beer, I often find that it's a little bit too much, but in a malty dark beer, that could be really good, like where it all mixes, and so I'm hoping for a very delightful balance in this. Could be a fun, definitely a fun winterish beer. Beginning of winter beer. It's sort of a cross between harvest season and the dark of night. I like that. Righto then. How's all set? Oh my goodness. Same. Delightful. Cheers. Whew. I got the sweetness of the banana up front. That's very okay. And then there's the chocolatey kind of in the middle. That's banana bread. That's sort of like a spicy chocolate chip banana bread. That is. Mm, mm, that is that is almost indescribable, but very. It's just a delightful surprise. You're sort of, oh, what's this going to be? But and yeah, I don't have the website to go back to, so I'm gonna have to refer to the tiny writing on the can back and forth. It is copper brown beer. Yes, flavors of a wheat beer that can offer. I mean, mostly, it's not quite as grainy, sort of that bread flavor of a wheat beer that we really like, but tasting of sweet maltiness, yes, and chocolate-like character, and a hint of cloves. That nails it. Yeah. It's just, yeah, that's what I think it would be like. Yeah, I think I wonder if I'm confusing the spice with maybe some bitter on the back end. Just in the very tail end, there's a little nip, and I feel like that's trying to be the cloves, but my taste buds might be playing tricks on me right now. Oh, it can also have banana and clove, and occasionally vanilla or bubblegum. Esters. I mean, in a really weird way, the combination of banana and chocolate, the sweetness of this. Now that you say bubblegum, I can almost equate the flavor. I'm sort of, oh, well, yeah. It's one of those things where once you put the idea in your head, I can sort of, I could, If someone said to me bubblegum, I'm like, yeah, a little tiny bit of that, but it really is just the sweetness pouring through with the banana, because the banana has that very distinct sweet flavor to it. It is a 4.6. Yes, so sessionable for sure. I mm. Yeah. Well, we'll see when we get to the bottom of it. I'm about a little more than halfway through right now, and then try to save a little ounce of it for the Otra. Oh, good. My nose is going to start being runny and stuffy at the same time. Human bodies are stupid. They're so confusing, vexing, impressionable things. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Why only half a donut, English? So is that a reward then? Well, honestly, I think eating something very sweet alongside with this almost, is there such thing as a dessert beer where you drink? Because sometimes you have when you have like a chocolate stout or a double chocolate stout, sometimes people will say things like, "Oh yeah, well try this one. It's a dessert beer. Have this one with dessert." And I don't always want to drink a sweet beverage with a dessert, but drinking this one, I think man, that with like a nice slice of cheesecake, that's just the sweet with the sweet. Have something sweet and light, but with something sweet and rich, maybe sweeter, heavier on the other side. It would ruin it. Yep, maybe I'm just not the biggest banana cream pie fan, but no, I would go sweet but slightly different. You can stick with chocolate. Chocolate on chocolate is fine, but if one thing is banana, then I think you want strawberry over here. You know what I mean? No, so oh, those again are the very sweet ones, and often a port, for example, is a very sweet, thick. Oh, it's like treacle, and I know you're about the only other person who would know what I'm talking about when I say it's like treacle. And on the wine tour, when we go to what's the one, Mercator, there in Grand Pre, they have a couple of dessert wines on right now. They have a fortified Muscat and a fortified Castel. One is a fortified white wine, one is a fortified red wine. The fortified Castel, fortified red wine, they can't call it a port. Here's another thing I learned, because port is only made in Portugal. So everything else is just a strong dessert sweet wine. So it's like that, but it's just a very, very thick dessert wine, and it tastes like dates. Yes. Yep. Oh. Yep. Well, so many games away there. I was wondering if you were going to bring up the Nanaimo because, long story short, I've tried it. I was going to tell you about. So I did tell you that I stopped by the Horton Ridge Malt House because I was picking up some Bar Dog Stout to take to my friends down in Halifax, because I don't think Horton Ridge puts too many things in. Most the craft brewers are very local with their NSLC distribution, and I think there's only like the IPA or something like that goes to the NSLCs. So I brought down the Bar Dog Stout to my friends in city because we have, and here's shameless. It's not even a plug because no one's invited. Since oh man, I think it's been we've known each other for 20 some years, 22 years we've known each other. And it was about 20 plus years ago, just a little over 20 years ago, where we were all working at Acadia University, just over there in Wolfville. And this is where I met most of my nerdy friends. We all, computer science majors, and we worked at the help desk, and we were just very computery and, typey. But we all had an interest in, we like beer. Beer's good, but we were all, drinking the Keiths at the time. And then, so the Acadia Student Union had a beer festival. Hey, everyone, come get your tickets and come to the beer festival this weekend. And I went, I'll go to that. I'd like to try some beers. And I went, and the advertisement for it was, let me see if I can get this right. It was over 20 beers from at least 7 different countries. And I went, that sounds impressive, right? Until you get there and realize that one of those countries is the exotic far-off country of the United States. And several of those beers are Coors, Miller, Coors Light, and Miller Lite. So you're ticking off of your 20 beers, like 7 of them were crappy Budweiser knockoffs, Coors and Miller Lite from the United States. And I went, and I was there with another buddy of mine, they're another friend, and they said they were just there for the cheap Guinness. They said they did the math, and if you went and used all your ticket stubs that you got like 4 drinks for your ticket price. And they said, if I drink 4 Guinness, it's actually cheaper than getting them at the LC. So, no. Boddington's Newcastle Brown Ale might have been there, but basically I think I tried Boddington's for the first time, and it was incredibly disappointing. And the next day I was back at work with my friend who had not decided to go to this beer festival, and I was regaling him with the tales of this is ridiculous, and he said, that sounds really, really bad. And I said, honestly, we could put on a better beer festival than that just by going down to the liquor store and picking the prettiest labels. And a little light bulb went off, and we said, oh. And that year, that Christmas, I think, and for several Christmases after that, it's almost been an annual thing, but we've missed many years, and we just call it the Geek Brow, where us and our nerdy friends, we started by going to the liquor store and buying the weirdest crap we could. And this is where I learned that I did not like Black Witch or Hobgoblin, because they used to be there. They were there in the thing, and we just got the craziest, wackiest stuff we could, and most of it was awful. So it slowly evolved into, oh boy, I found this really good craft beer for you guys. You're really going to love it. And we started bringing the good stuff. So when I got there, I had brought the Bar Dog Stout. Just this past weekend was, Geek Brow number 19 or 20 or something like that. And I said, here's the Bar Dog Stout. And my friend tries to, oh yeah, that's the good stuff. And then another friend, I brought him the Marigold Blonde Ale, the Sober Island one. I said, you got to try this, and he really liked that. And we've already sold him on the Jalapeno El Diablo from Good Robot. So and the funny thing is, we started this 20 years ago when there was 3 craft breweries. So it's much easier to have our Geek Brow now, because we say, oh, try these 7. They're delicious. Because before it was just a train wreck. So that's the whole Geek Brow story of me going down, and I don't even remember the beginning of the story. The Bar Dog Stout, yes. Oh, fortified wines. And yes, there are dessert wines. Yeah. Well, we tried the big Papa last week, and that one, it it is comparable. No, I mean, yeah, we can find it. What was that one? Malternate reality? Well, because malt was in the word, but no, I mean, it's exciting to expand, to try new things. This is me showing everyone. Yeah, try something you don't like. You might be surprised. That was where my story was going. While I was at my Geek Brow this past weekend, my friend, who I had once introduced, my friend that I brought the Bar Dog Stout for, he had 2 cans of the Nanaimo from Propeller. And I went, Ian's been telling me about this. I can't wait. I can't wait. And he gave me this facial expression of, well, and I went, well, so no stirring review from, shining review from my friends there. And so we cracked it open and I took a few gulps and did not knock my socks off. Nope. However, I mean, it's not in the controlled environment that is right here. I had already had several. I brought down the Butcher Block Red, my go-to. Try to sell everyone in the Butcher Block Red from Tatamagouche. That's my when I go out to buy beer for myself, I usually go and get about 4 cans of Butcher Block Red. I just love that stuff. I don't know why. So I was well into the bevy at this point, and there was another. I think it was a Good Robot, some Good Robot chocolatey brown. What was that? Good Robot chocolate. Why can't choco? Why can't I spell chocolate? Chocolate dipped oat cake. No, that was. It might not have been a Good Robot, but it was some other craft brew that they had. It was this thick, very dark blue can, and it. Oh, if you could make the Russian Imperial Stout taste more milk chocolatey. It was just cream. It was so good. It was very, very flavorful. And I can't remember what the heck it was. Where's... Yeah, let's... there's a... Oh well, yes. Oh yeah, we'll have to do the proper thing. Oh my goodness. So the picture that I took of all the beers that we had, John hadn't arrived yet. So my friend John, who's been on the show, what was that chocolatey stout thing in the blue can we all loved? There, I'll find out eventually. But the short story is, we had a Geek Brow and someone brought a Nanaimo, and I thought it was okay. Honestly, the first sip of it, the first drink of it, I was not really my thing. Later on, as I drank more of it, I thought, okay, this the sweetness in it, and I could sort of and someone kept saying, "Is this supposed to taste like a Nanaimo bar?" And I went, "I don't know." It was, yeah. No, I'm getting just a little tiny bit on the tail end. He does confirm that it was from Good Robot, but I can't find it on their site. I can't. It is a little. I don't know. I'm really enjoying this chocolate banana. Bingo Bronson chocolate porter, apparently. Bronson? chocolate porter. From Good Road. Okay. Yeah. It's a boozy chocolate fountain. Oh my. Bingo Brown. It says, oh, wait. Is it a 6%? Is it a... What's the percentage on this? I can't... What? Oh. Oh, we lost Ian. He's back. There you are. Good. So, yeah, my friend, he says, John says that it was Good Robot. It was single batch, and it's called the Boozy Bronson Chocolate Porter. Because I think it was slightly stronger, like a 6 or might have even been as high as a 7%, but it was the business. It was very, very good, very nice to find. And this is, it's part of the problem of trying to do a show like this where we try to review, hey, these are really good. Where if 70 breweries all decide to do a small batch 3-week push of something interesting like a Bock or a double chocolate porter, yeah, I mean, do we go out and get 70 of these beers to try in a 2-week period? Oh, I'm definitely leaning closer and closer towards applying for an arts grant for this whole thing. It's true. Oh no, I almost did. Right. Mouthful left. Whoops. So we have no other Dunkelweizens. No other Dunkelweizens to compare it to, but that did everything I think it was supposed to. So however, I feel like there is room for a smoother mouthfeel where there was some sort of, if not clovey, some sort of kind of bitter something in the middle at the very tail end of it. So I won't go as high as a 9, but I will happily give that an 8.8. Yep. I agree. Hmm. Mm. And I think the 4.6 is the best part. Because oh, I forgot it was that strong. Okay, all right. No. Yep. Because I think in my imagination, drinking that, I think a little bit more chocolate and a little bit less, or and a bready flavor. The breadiness of a good wheat beer, a really good wheat beer. I feel like. But if it does the melange, if it mixes well, so maybe. So the Annapolis Brewing Company, Dunkelweizens, German wheat beer. You grab this one because anything with a brown can, we do kind of gravitate towards and get very excited by. However, this one was also a 5.4% ABV, so we're going up nearly a whole percentage point. Proudly made in Annapolis Royal, but on the side it says, the German-style Dunkelweisen can be considered a cross between a German-style Dunkel and a Hefeweizen. Wow, they just took that straight from the Wikipedia article. Distinguished by the sweet maltiness and chocolate-like character, it can also have banana esters from Weizen ale yeast. That sounds like it's just sort of telling you what might possibly happen. It's a bit of a Nova Scotian forecast, isn't it? Partly cloudy, bit of rain. Maybe, you never know what's going to happen. So, if it says there's a chance of banana and there isn't any, are they penalized for that? I hope to, yeah. I am uncomfortably stuffed up, and I think that's affecting not my taste, but definitely my smell. Because when I smell this, I don't know what I'm getting. Are you getting a banana smell off that? There's something. No. There's something in there, though. It does not have a lot of a bouquet on it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, you pay for the smell. I think, yeah, $4. No, $3 off. They're what, $6 a piece? Five and a half. So I want $2.50 back if it doesn't smell good. I'm really barely anything still.
It's not as strong though, for sure. But no, I'm getting it now. There is a bit of banana-iness in there. And that's good.
I have terrible news.
Uh-oh.
I have forgotten to have your audio on this entire time.
Ah.
I am the dumbest person alive.
That's happened to us before, isn't it?
It has happened before, but occasionally we've had someone in the chat that tells us that you're not you're not of any volume. Oh dear. Well,
okay. Never mind.
To recap, we both liked the first one, and you gave it an 8.5, and I gave it an 8.8. Done. I'll just clip that up, and it'll be me talking for a while. And then finally, my co-host Ian is finally here. I apologize for all of this. Sadly, it affects both the recording and the live version. Why don't I click the right buttons or look at anything or prepare myself? I'm going to blame sick brain.
And also the fact that you've got a 9-month-old, so that's going to take away some of your brain cells.
And I mean, I've with my little cold that I can't quite shake or keeps coming back. I just yeah, I just keep having the cloudy thoughts and I can't keep things straight.
Never mind.
Right. Yes, we already read the side of the can. How much pesky foam do you have?
I've got a little. It's comparable to the last one. It's not.
I managed
quite as quickly, unfortunately. I say unfortunately. It's a very similar looking color.
Yes.
Coppery, browny thing. It looks delicious again. Would you call it auburn? No, I think it's coppery. Yeah, it's good, isn't
it? Leaning towards brown. I think you said reddish brown for the first one. Oh dear. My son is awake. Despite the fact that he should have been in bed by now.
Give him a pint, Ross. I remember.
What's the one? You rub the whiskey on the baby's gums, and that helps them with the teething.
It rubs the whiskey on its gums before it. No, let's not go into that. That's.
Or else it gets the hose again.
Yes,
I saw where you're going.
I don't know. I mean, you've got some. Obviously, you got some Scottish in you. and it's part of a rite of passage for to be given pints when you're sort of
I should check, but I don't think I was ever given the hooch as a child.
Oh no, I wasn't given hooch, but my dad quite often we would go for Sunday drives in the countryside. My dad used to take us out and I'm talking when I was no older than, God, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years old. I remember sitting in pub gardens while my dad would nip in and grab maybe 2 or 3 pints, and then he'd come out, and I'd sat there still with my Walker's cheese and onion crisps, and he would bring out. We would regularly have like glasses of, well, we would used to call them lemonade, but you just call them Sprite or 7-Up. But that was was a lemonade. And then so that's what we had. We would play out on the swings and on the slides and things in the pub garden. And then he'd come out and sit there and have another pint. He's probably about his 8th, and he would, and then he'd drive us home. And then and he would quite often he would just give us scoops of froth and this was bear in mind this is the 70s, so you can sit there and feed your 3-year-old a few sips of beer.
Your pint. So effectively, what you're saying is you used to go drunk driving with your father.
Well, it was different times, Ross.
I know.
70s, there was no such thing as policemen. They hadn't been invented yet, and cars didn't go very fast. So back then, and there wasn't that many of them in the UK back then. There was probably only 30 million or so. So the chances of you hitting another car, I would go. Listen, I'm being a bit evasive about this, but that was a different time, entirely.
I've probably, because I couldn't tell when my father was drunk driving, so I've probably certainly been drunk drived around a few times myself.
Oh yeah,
in my utes.
I mean, I know it's not to be laughed about, but you know, it was a different time, and a much different, sterner view is taken on. I mean, if you have 2 or 3 pints now, there's you're treading on very thin ice. But back then, people just go out.
We were never sure.
10 pints and then drive. It's crazy.
Because when I was living in Wolfville, we'd walk down to the pub and we'd have a few, and then we'd walk home, and I would think, okay, I definitely should not be driving right now. And we had these conversations saying, at what point do you sort of say to yourself, yeah, I feel fine, I feel good, and I've never had to use a breathalyzer myself, and I think we found one. There was one in like a hardware store for like $9, so we bought a cheap breathalyzer and tried it, and the problem is we tried it when we hadn't had anything to drink. In fact, we handed it to my daughter, who was about 13 at the time, and she blew on it and said, "Oh, your alcohol percentage is way high." She said, "What?"
Oh,
so I don't think, don't buy a cheap one, but I'm so curious. I want to know where this magical. What does 0.08 feel like? Because if I'm not mistaken, that's still that's the limit. You can be up to 0.08 alcohol in your blood or whatever, and then beyond that, you are breaking the law and doing and I'm unclear as to what that seems like.
And of course, it depends on so much on what you've eaten, how big you are,
1,000 things. Yep.
If you've drunk anything, if you're tired, what you've been doing today, it's crazy. Everyone's body reacts differently to it.
Moon.
Yeah, so whatever. And just because I would have 2 pints at the same strength, at the same today, if I had the same, then blew into one of those things and didn't pass it, or did pass the test, it doesn't mean to say that exactly the same exactly the same
scenario tomorrow, and it would be completely different.
It would mean you would pass it too, because it's just a lottery by all accounts.
I used to know a police officer, but I think they moved to Toronto. So I need to get my hands on a proper breathalyzer and find out where I'm at different points, so that I know. Not that I'm trying to say, oh, I've only had 3, I'm definitely cool to drive, but I'm curious what 0.08 feels like. Is the short story that I've got. Oh. Anywho. How's your mine's been full in the glass for a while. There's still a tiny amount of head just peeking over the edge there. Right. Ready for the German Dunkelweizens in the brown can. All set.
Yes.
Less sweet.
Less sweet, thicker, tastes a little stronger. Doesn't have as much.
Oh,
God! You know what I did though, Ross, which I shouldn't have done. I had that immediately after eating a handful of peanuts. I've got to cleanse my palate.
is it peanut flavored by any chance? And so
It is.
malty, creamy, smooth up front, and then about in the midway, that's when there's a chocolatey flavor does take over. I'm not getting the banana or any of the spice or any of the things that you get in a wheat ale. I don't think.
It's less, certainly. It's. We said that when we cracked it open that it didn't have the smell immediately. Wasn't. I didn't associate it with a Weiss beer. However, then when it was there's a little more air got to it in the glass, then the subtle banana smell came through. But I'm not really tasting it very much.
Very, very subtle. It's more of a Dunkelweizens is what I'm saying here.
I'm going to struggle with this. You know why?
Because
go on. Well, I say, do you know why?
I was trying to think of something funny to say about the Dunkel. Your Dunkel is more than your Weizen, and like I don't even know where I was going with that one.
There was going to be no double entendre. I wasn't going to do any pun. What I was going to say was immediately, I think I'm going to prefer this beer to the other one, but I think the other one is more what I expected to taste from a Dunkelweizen, if by the description on its can and on the website.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Fully agree, because I think this is a delicious brown, maybe even kind of a lighter porter, but this is a really good dark beer, but I'm pretty sure it's no Dunkelweizen, this one.
I'm not tasting what I expected to taste is where I'm going with that, yeah. But it does taste, to me, because it's smoother, it's richer, it's a bit maltier, and it's a bit more as opposed to 4.6. This could be tough to score this. It's
That's
nice.
Really tasty, though. I do like it, but you're right. It's not the German wheat beer that the other one was, and where I'd like to give it good points. I think it's a tastier dark beer, but
it's
compared.
Yeah, it's stronger, and you don't all want strength, but that is.
I do. I always love strength. Well, not that I've ever had a tasty 3.6 beer, but even a tasty 3.6 beer over the worst tasting double IPA at 7, I'd choose the double IPA every time.
Mate, I don't think strength is necessarily an indication of flavor. We know it's not. One of my absolute favorite beers in the world is a British beer called Banks's Best Bitter. It's in the West Country. It's in the West Midlands. It comes from Banks Brewery. I don't know if it's still made the same way. You know, like quite often. Let's take Keith's IPA as a perfect example. It doesn't taste like it did a few years ago. It's still got the same label on it. It's still got the same markings. So, and yet people, if they can't taste the difference between it now, then there's something wrong with their taste buds. But Banks is Bitter, when I was based in the West Midlands, and going back to the mid-'80s, was the most sessionable and delicious beer I think I'd ever had. And it's like 3.8 or something. It's not very strong at all.
It is exactly 3.8%.
And it's so fabulously delicious at 3.8. And it's like it's you know, like when you talk about a great session ale. Well, that's it. Because you can drink it all night long. It's so delicious, and I have many times. And
I'm about to make you hungry.
Oh.
On the Banks' Amber Bitter, it says, great with a packet of pork scratchings or a hot pie.
Well, thank you, because West Midlands pork scratchings are famous. They are the best pork scratchings in England. Yeah, they are. But out Wolverhampton.
What is...
Bloody good.
What is a pork scratching and what makes a good pork scratching? I have so many questions.
Pork scratchings, you have pork rinds here that the pork rind.
Oh,
No,
yeah, but those are gross.
now, well, there you go, which is what I was about to say. Don't
Yeah.
use
You
them
got it.
with pork rind. These are pork rinds, but they are far more. They've left far more of the meat attached to the pork rind. I guess the fat, and they've dipped it in some wonderful spices. Oh my God, man! You know how it used to be a treat to go to KFC because of the whatever it was, 11 secret herbs and spices, whatever it was that Colonel Sanders used to put on it. As a kid, this was amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And nowadays, you go to KFC and it's shit. I'm sorry, I can't think of a better word. It's just like your regular, generic, greasy, oily, nasty chicken with whatever they don't put what they used to put on it. And that would be the equivalent of eating a pork rind that you get here from, I don't know, Superstore, and what you get in a West Midlands pork scratchings. They are chalk and cheese, completely different.
Pork scratchings are known as scrunchions in the Atlantic,
Oh,
often served with salt cod. So now I'm trying to find out. You can buy them in Canada. There's apparently a brand called Mr. Porky's, and they do pork
yeah.
scratchings.
Yeah.
But scrunchions sounds even better. I'll see if I can buy these anywhere. Saltfish and scrunchions. Randomisland.ca. Newfie Scrunchions in Halifax. Apparently it's a Newfie treat, which is similar to this. You can't really buy them ready-made. You have to make them yourself. All right. I found a recipe to make your own pork scrunchions. Pork scratchings.
pork scratchings.
Scranulons.
I want some now. You said make me.
I did say you were gonna get hungry if we talked about that,
Uh-huh.
but it was gonna come up.
Well, I've got like I said earlier on.
And a hot pie. I have been looking to make, because in Scotland, all my Scottish relatives, you go and they say, and it's not even, you don't even call it a pork pie or a hot pie. It's just a pie.
Pie.
That's it. What are you getting? A pie and chips. Your chips and a pie, and it's just this pastry laden, this puck of ground pork, spiced all up, and
it's Scotch pie is what they're talking about.
It's Scotch pie. Yep.
Scotch pie.
And I want to. I don't want to buy it because I don't want to give money to Pete's Frutique, because apparently all of their employees are going on strike, and that tells me that they're not very good to their employees. But I'd love to try to figure out how to make it.
Well,
That's
I did
Plan B.
Pete's Frutique. I mean, listen, he's British, right? So he knows how to.
Well, he's not there anymore. He's sold off. They sold the franchise a long time ago. Pete's Frutique is now owned by Sobeys, so you can hate it openly.
Okay. I only started going there. Not going there. Like, I don't frequent it all the time. I only really sort of went there for the first time a couple of years ago. And I've been 2 or 3 times since. But while I was there the first time, I thought, oh, look at that. There's a nice hot sausage roll at the deli counter at Pete's Frutique. I thought, I love sausage rolls, Ross. I love them all as much as, even more than pork scratchings or scrunchions that I've just.
I know what you're saying. I am fully on board with the sausage rolls.
I love sausage rolls. So I thought, this is going to be great. So I bought a sausage roll from there, paid something like $6 or $7 for this rather small. It was horrible. It was really, really nasty and greasy, and it tasted nothing like a sausage roll, is what I will say about it. And I'm glad you just said that Pete doesn't own it anymore, because I thought, how on earth can it be so bad? Because you get a box of them, just even the frozen ones you can get from Superstore taste perfectly fine. Yeah, and they're so close to what I'd be used to. But this one I got from there, and it's made fresh at the deli counter, and it was pretty disgusting. Is my damning opinion of that.
Ooh, I forgot about this. There's the Scotian Isle baked goods. It's in like where is it? It's in Hansport, I thought. The best sausage roll with a flaky crust I have had happens to be in a Tan Cafe. The Tan Cafes have a delicious sausage roll.
Do they really?
Oh, they do. Now, I think they put it in the microwave, so I'm not really sure where they get them.
There is a British.
They're quite nice. I thought Scotiabank wasn't Hansport. Maybe I'm wrong. It's gone the wrong way, and I may have. Oh, have I lost him? No, you're back.
You're back. Yeah. It's in Hansport. It's you just mentioned Hansport, and there's a.
Well, I thought there was a Hansport Scottish something.
Sausage rolls too. That would go. Sausage roll and a pint, mate, is what life's all about, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh,
scratching sausage roll and a nice pint.
But I mean, probably even in Pictou, which is the celebratory Scottish center for Nova Scotia. I don't think you can do that. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a proper Scottish experience, and I have been to a few Scottish pubs when my dad and I were over there in Glasgow, and nothing comes close. Mostly because you don't have that thick head of cigarette smoke all around your
That's what you're saying.
your top layer.
Yeah. Flavor-wise,
This is.
What do you think?
It's a bit like a Scotch ale, where it's got I think it's because it's slightly higher percentage, but it tastes whiskey-ish, and it could be my taste buds are playing up on me and acting very strange.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm getting a bit from it.
You went for a nice brown ale. You mentioned it. I think this is like a really good, quite strong brown ale.
Yep.
I'm enjoying this, and thankfully I didn't put it. It's not cold either. I only popped it in the fridge 15 minutes before we started, so it's still just. It's how beer should. It's how a dark beer should be tasting, and a nice brown ale. I mean, should be tasting at the right temperature. I like this, regardless of whether it's a Dunkelweizens or not. I'm going to white out. I'm going to get some Tipp-Ex and white out the can, what it says, because this to me should say brown ale. It's really lovely, and I can't mark them because they're both good in their own way.
I have some interesting information. The name of the place I'm thinking of in Hansport is called Essentially English Bakery and Cafe.
That's the same place that I'm talking about in Hansport. Yeah, I've eaten there.
But when I look up Scottish bakery, I get something called Baked by Butcher.
Oh.
Which is in Waterville. And I can see your brain twisted on this one because I'm pretty sure that's where you actually are right now.
What's it called?
Baked by Butcher. It's right on Highway 1.
Highway 1 in
Waterville. You could walk there.
How bizarre.
Penner Tire and Valley Independent Living Services at the corner of the one in the Thompson.
Yeah.
7 houses to the east.
Okay. Interesting. I'll check that out.
Cakes.
What are they
baked by Butcher. Ad website. No, this is not really much, but there's reviews. 5.0 from 3 reviews. The cakes were good. The best cake. Cake this, cake that, cake that. So, yeah, I'm not saying Scottish bakery yay ou nay, but it's not quite.
We shall continue this convo after we go off tonight, because then I'll take some notes, and then maybe walk down there tomorrow.
Just walk down the street and get some cake.
There we go.
And then we did try. Brittany and I were thinking about stopping by this Hansport one because I'd like to know if it's more than just baked goods. Fine, but I want a meat pie is what I'm looking for.
No, you can get meat pies there, and you can get British crisps, Walker's crisps, and yes, you can get sausage rolls. and various things like that there. Be prepared. Be prepared to dig deep into your wallet, unfortunately.
I just need to make my own pastry dough. I've done it a few years ago, and if you make your own pastry dough and you pick up some ground pork, I'm pretty sure I can make my own meat pies, and it'll be fine.
That's good.
They'll turn out terrible the first few times, but whatever. I really like the Annapolis Dunkelweizen over the Plowman, the Saltbox Dunkelweizen, but I think the Saltbox one is more true to the genre of what it's trying to be. I think the Annapolis one forgot the wheat beer part. It seems to have left the wheat beer behind, which means that sadly the Annapolis one gets a lower score for a Dunkelweizen is, but I like it more. You were right. We would like it more, but it's not done the right thing. The Saltbox one did the right thing. Still an 8.9 or an 8.8. But the Annapolis one I think is barely an 8.0 or an 8.1 for a Dunkelweizen, despite the fact that I like it more.
If I was in a pub and those were the only two beers that they were serving,
yep,
I'm going to have to go for the Annapolis Royal.
I am as well.
Yeah, because I prefer the beer.
Another of these, please, stout yeoman.
But the Dunkelweizen from Saltbox does what it says on the tin more accurately. And they're both really good beers. And one is 4.6 and one is 5.4. So if I was going to be driving home, actually, I'd say, am I supposed to say, if I was going to be driving home, I wouldn't have any beer at all? I know I am in a perfect world.
It's all right. My father's driving tonight.
Right, my dad's only had 10, and it's 1970. He's fine. He can do it.
He's on his third Leviathan from Propeller.
and his second bottle of Kraken before we leave.
He's the one over there with his pants at his ankles, wearing the lampshade, singing Tura Lura at the top of his lungs. That's him. Right.
And back then, of course, if a policeman pulled you up and you're all over the road, back then he said, "I think we better follow you home, sir." Is that the way to make sure that you got?
Please don't hit anyone.
That's right. And you're after your 10th pint. I like them both really, really, really well. I'm going to go back and have a... Oh, Rebecca.
I did the mouthful back and forth, and yep, they're both good, but one has that delightful little chocolate banana in the Saltbox.
It does, doesn't it? I've just gone back to the Saltbox again, and it's really, it's really good.
It is. It's not often that we find, I mean, a new kind of, it was like a Dunkelweizen. Oh, okay, we have two Dunkelweizens. Whatever, this will be easy. But both of them, they've really nailed it. A little bit more banana from the Annapolis Royal, please. The wheat ale part is more Dunkel, less Weizen.
I would say.
Whereas the Plowman's is it's just a lovely mix.
It is. There's more, definitely more. It's quite when we've gone straight back from the Annapolis. Why is my phone falling to pieces in front of me?
What's it on? You need to tighten the strap on that.
Oh, by the way, no. It's remember I said I grabbed some DVDs a couple of weeks ago and put them on it, and we went through what the DVDs. I have a big bucket, and then I've got about half a dozen DVDs into it, which brings me around about level with my face. So this evening, DVD concoction.
So you're saying the DVDs are melting and bending?
It's difficult to explain the setup I have.
I imagine so, because you're saying rigid plastic is occasionally letting the webcam part of the thing, the camera.
One of those weird open flappy phone covers, okay, where you open it like a book or like a wallet.
And flip phone?
No. This is not 2005. No, this is
and your Motorola 720?
No. It's in a case, but the case opens like it's got.
Oh, okay. Where the wrapper, like a book.
Like a book, absolutely. but it doesn't. It's getting a bit sad for itself, so it's lost some of its rigidity and it keeps falling over. Anyway, as I was going on with oh yeah, I was going to talk about the DVDs. You just mentioned those. So what do you think of these ones then? I think we had we talked about some before, and you weren't enamored with my DVD collection. This one's got.
Oh, I think we went into Mel Brooks territory.
Oh yeah, probably. The Office, the complete first and second series, but we're talking British Office.
I still have never seen the British one. Brittany made me watch the American one.
Okay.
And you get into it, but it starts off a little...
You'll love that.
Oh,
I love that.
Classic. Well, you can't... Yeah. Everything regarding Mel Gibson aside, Braveheart, you can't show that to a Scot without them feeling enormous pride, despite the historical inaccuracies.
That's the double offices. Oh, we got...
Right. And then I didn't think that was that good.
Okay.
I didn't grow up with it. It wasn't iconic in my youth. And then someone said, well, you got to watch it now. And I watched it like my 40s, I think, or late 30s at least. And it was the first time I'd seen it. And I went, eh.
So you're not a Goonies fan. Well, I've only seen it once too. Rebecca loved it, and because it was in her ball court.
Did it feel like it was on ADHD? Like I kept thinking, whoa, why did we jump over there? What's going on now? I felt like the whole thing was moving on twice speed.
I only saw it when it came out in the sort of 87, whatever it was. And I enjoyed it back then, but not like some people. Some people leave it in greater esteem than I. But I need to watch it again, which is why it was in there in, I don't know, I can't remember where we got it from, but it was very recent.
Yeah, give it another whirl, for sure.
And there are two others it's leaning on. My phone is slowly disappearing over the back again. And there's one. It's sitting on that.
I don't think I've seen that.
Okay, that's very good.
Oh, it's a miniseries, 10 parts. So is that sort of more your factual Saving Private Ryan then?
It is actually. They were both Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers were both shot literally a stone's throw, if you could throw a stone 2 miles from my old house in Garden City. It's actually filmed in Hatfield, in Hertfordshire. Both of them. So Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg pitched up. And everyone went, bloody hell, that's Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks. They're shooting stuff over there in that abandoned airfield about 2 miles.
And that all they were trying to do was trying to eat their pork scratchings in a...
They wouldn't. They'd have to drive in a couple of miles to go to the West Midlands.
Go. Better look busy. We're here for a movie. Yes. What's it about?
I don't know. That's some pork scratching. Shut up. It's like so. And then the last one, it was perched atop was that.
Oh, okay. Now we're up my alley with the Muppet movie.
The original Muppet movie.
The original Muppet movie.
Right. And if
we're not talking Muppets Take Manhattan, which was The Great Muppet Caper. That was a pretty good one. I think that was the follow-up to the Muppet movie.
Humbug. A Muppet Christmas Carol is...
Oh, that's way later. I'm talking early 80s.
But it's
the early 80s sequels.
Fantastic. It's so good. I could watch it. Oh, it's brilliant. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, Plowman's Dunkelweizens, to me, actually, now I've gone back to it.
It won.
And it's banana-y, and I think it's closer to what I expect.
Yeah. Whatever this category is, it won.
Yeah, slightly.
But
yeah,
I think it's very close, despite the fact that they're both a little bit different.
Yeah.
I wish I could have the Annapolis one branded a little differently. That's a better brown ale than some brown ales we have had. So just tell me. Oh. I've got the Annapolis Royal Brown Ale. That's the one that exploded. Or no, yours popped and you drank it, so we don't have that one. But we've got some other brown ale. Oh, but we gotta go to something else. We'll do like I don't know, pilsners or lagers or something. We'll go light ales next week, and then we'll come back. Oh, it's brown ale time. Oh,
Shame you didn't
I got excited about a brown ale
wax
week.
lyrical over this, and obviously if I didn't have any audio for the first 30 or 40 minutes, doesn't matter.
I apologize for that. Yep,
'cause-
that's all. That's my fault. It'll be hell to edit, but I'll do it. It'll be me for like a half hour, and then you for you'll show up halfway through as though you were late.
That's
There we go.
Last week.
Forget everything you've heard. Ian just showed up late tonight.
You waffled.
And I've been covering for him this entire time.
I'm taking the leftover part of my donut, and I'm gonna skedaddle. I'm out of here. Bye bye.
How does someone sit there for 58 minutes and not eat half a donut? He has far more. What's the word? Oh, the most incredible phrasing from WWE that I've ever heard was intestinal fortitude. That's what he's got when you don't eat that donut. Thank you for joining us. You can see everything on our YouTube, our new YouTube page, youtube.com/@drinknsdry, or you can go check out the main website, drinknsdry.unsupervised.beer. We've got a Facebook page as well, or you can download the podcast at all podcasty places, Google, Amazon, and Apple, and Spotify. And we're here every Tuesday night live on the YouTubes, and I try to post it over there on Facebook as well. But if you put up the subscribe to the page, then that helps out. And then if I remember to remind everyone that that's what's going on. And I'm going to put everything up there as well. Oh my God, there's so much stuff to do. They need more hours in the day. But I want to thank Ian for being here, and Annapolis Royal for making this delicious beer, and Saltbox for making the Plowman's Dunkelweizzen. I finally did it. I hit the W in the Weizen. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
I'm going to eat the rest of my donut.